All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see if we can avoid a TikTok warning, even though I never do what TikTok says I'm doing. TikTok seems convinced that I'm trying to send people somewhere else to sell them something, even though I'm not actively doing that. But no matter what, they do it at the beginning of every stream. So maybe today we'll be lucky and they won't do that to us. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday, happy weekend. Hopefully everyone's having a good time. What's everybody up to today? Holy One, Chris, question marks, RV, what's up? Welcome in, welcome in. Coffee, what's up? I don't know why TikTok cuts off your guys' names if they're too long. I don't know how to change that, to be honest. I don't know how to fix that. I don't even have like the chat popped out. I have like the full-on TikTok window, but it just doesn't work right for some reason. What's everybody up to on this fine Friday evening? We'll get the build started here in just a minute, but we'll let some people roll in before we get too far. I don't have it in some of the titles, but today is the first build that we're doing from our pre-built on Bestbuy. So this is the first one. We actually we have one model for sale on that site, and yeah, this is the first one we've sold, so it's pretty exciting. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get more rolling in over there. It's really cool that we have that available. I'm excited to see what that means for growth. Oh, there it is. We got hit by TikTok already. What? Because I said Best Buy? I'm not allowed to say Best Buy. I'm not trying to redirect anyone. I didn't even tell anyone what it's called. But what can we do? TikTok's AI mod is a little wild. It's a little wild. All right, let's talk through the build that we've got today. So this, like I said, this is called Project Blackbird. This is a pre-built PC. It's got a Ryzen 5 9600X, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, got a 1 terabyte SSD, the RTX 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, and then we've got a 240 millimeter AIO, ASRock B850 Pro with Wi-Fi enabled, and then we've got a 750 watt power supply, and all of this is going inside of the Montech XR case. Yeah, pretty straightforward build, shouldn't take super long, but it's a nice looking little system. All right, shall we get to building? Andre, thank you so much for the sub, appreciate that. And David O'Donnell coming in with the sub. All right, let's get to building. The only downside of having stuff on that site, on the marketplace, is I have to ship these within 2 days of them being ordered, which means I pretty much always have to have all of the parts ready. Ideally, basically have to have the PC already built, and then it has to be basically ready to ship out within 2 days, which is, as a small builder, it's pretty tough. That does mean I have to have, you know, $1,000+ in inventory in the shop at all times just for this. But if they start selling, you know, that's totally worth it. You know, $1,000 or whatever it is, like $1,200–1,300 in inventory is a lot cheaper than even some of the GPUs that I have sitting back there. So it's not really the end of the world, just not ideal, you know. Wow, AI modded on Kick already. First comment, that's cool. Yo, thank you for the follow. I don't even know how to pronounce that name on Kick, but thank you. Yo, what up, Eric? Hi, Linus. I am certainly not Linus. That's for darn sure. For one thing, Linus makes a lot more money than I do. But I appreciate the compliment. I will take that as a compliment, that's for sure. Although I am taller than Linus. I'm pretty sure Linus is pretty short. Roman, what's up? How we doing? All right. I also adjusted the horizontal streams a little bit. We made the front view a little bit bigger. I know it's still not huge, but we want to make it to where you could see a little bit better through that front work, or front camera, if that's what you want to look at. We are building a pre-built PC that we have on Bestbuy. This is, I have an account through Bestbuy Marketplace, so you can actually buy this system on Bestbuy right now. Okay, that probably would give me a TikTok warning, but it's okay. We already got the warning. Surely they can't throw it at us twice, right? Love my work. Hey, thank you, Hassan. I forgot I used this for a quick test. It's already opened. What's this, a free PC giveaway for me? Get out of here, Roman. I'm just kidding, please don't leave. No, this is not a free PC. It's a pre-built, which is kind of a misnomer in my on my website, because I don't pre-build all of my systems. They're more like pre-configured systems, but when you want stuff to show up with like SEO and stuff, nobody searches for pre-configured, they search for pre-built. So that's kind of how you have to run it. Can you create videos how to clean PS5 and laptops at home in the future? I don't own a PS5, so unless someone sends me a PS5, it's gonna be kind of hard to do that, and I'm not buying a PS5 just for that. Laptops are hard because everyone's different, right? Because pretty much, if you really want to clean it well, you have to take it apart on a laptop, and every laptop looks different. But I could do a basic video probably with my current laptop, just to show the general ideas maybe. You only do builds on ketamine? Oh my God. It's a wild comment of you, BN100. Wow, how did AI Mod catch the first one but not the second one? Consider yourself banned on my my Kick. Goodbye. Yo, what up, Hatfield? Taking apart some laptops is a pain in the butt. Yeah, exactly. It can be a pain, and you can easily break stuff. That's the hard part about laptops. There are bolts that secure like the bottom plate on, but there's also a bunch of like plastic, like little click-in features. It's very easy to break them, like very, very easy, no matter how good you are. Saving for a PS6? Who, me? No, I don't plan on buying any consoles. I have very nice computers that I game on. I don't actually game that much anymore, so buying another gaming system wouldn't really make much sense. Is this way? No, it's definitely this way. There we go. You have some that have plastic clips that are brittle AF, even new, and add a few years of heat cycles and they disintegrate. Yeah, exactly. Yo, what up, Trail Tech? How we doing? We're all the Twitch watchers right now. Twitch is always pretty quiet for me, man. I stream on Twitch just because like someone convinced me that I should stream there again, even though my viewership and following is really low over there. But yeah, it's always pretty quiet. Like last stream, there was literally 0 chatters on Twitch until like the very end, and it had been so long without any that I stopped looking over there, and then I ignored them on accident. Do I do PC repairs? If so, what's the most damaged PC you've ever seen? I do some PC repairs, like for like local customers. I'm trying to think. Nothing super crazy. A lot of them are people who have like just built their PCs and then it doesn't work, and I've had to like go in and like figure out what they did wrong in the build. I actually have a build sitting here that was sitting in storage for a couple of years. It's very dirty and kind of gross, but it looks like it has a failed motherboard, so we're gonna have to replace that. I'd say most common that comes in is like failed CPU or sometimes motherboards. Those seem to be the most common stuff that comes into my shop, at least. I don't know that that's the most common, you know, in general, but from what has come to my shop, that's been most common. Sometimes most of heat issues due to dust and need cleaning. Yeah, if you don't keep your PC clean, your stuff is definitely gonna run hotter and it's gonna cause it to degrade faster. Like it usually won't mean immediate problems because PCs are smart enough to like throttle themselves back if they're getting too hot. But if you just keep letting it be hot all the time, it's bad for it. It's gonna cause it to degrade a lot faster. RTX 3070 versus 3060-12. I would choose the 3070. It's better for 1440p gaming. I mean, it's better with 1080p gaming. And I don't know what prices on those look like right now, but I imagine the 3070 isn't that much more expensive than the 3060 right now. I pretty much do everything that I sell right now is new, so I don't really deal a lot with used or older components. What do you think of £777 price of a PC? I mean, it depends on what's in it. I don't really know how that equates to dollars, US dollars, but I feel like it's close to 1-to-1. Go in and take the plastic off the CPU cooling block. I mean, we'll think about it. We'll think about taking it off. All right, so we got, those are bolts for the radiator. Got our AMD stuff. And we shouldn't need the rest of that. That should all be Intel stuff. Okay, yeah. Shouldn't need anything else out of that bag. Both RTX 5070 and Ryzen 7 3700X, I would say it's a bad combination. If you're gonna spend the money on a 5070, at least get yourself like a 9600X or a Ryzen 5, like the 7400F, like get on AM5. If you're gonna spend the money to get a 5070. Or if you already have the 3700X system, upgrade to like a 5800X or 5700X 3D if you can get one, and it'll work a lot better with that 5070 because the 3700X just can't handle everything that the 5700X can do, so you're gonna bottleneck by that. Yes, this is a build for Best Buy. Bought and ordered on the marketplace, which means you can actually find this exact system on Best Buy's website right now. It's crazy. This is pre-sold, so I am on Best Buy Marketplace, which is like they just opened it this year. I think these go closer to the. I think these go closer to the CPU. Let's just double check. Yeah. So yeah, I am listed. I'm a seller on Best Buy Marketplace, so I have just this one model right now listed on their website. So you can buy this directly from bestbuy.com, which is cool. Sorry, TikTok, I can't help myself but toot my own horn a little bit. I already got a warning. I get a warning at the beginning of every stream, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Just finished the build for that coworker. Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that. 7700X B650, 32 gigs of DDR5, 9060 XT 16 gig. That's a beautiful little build, man. I bet they're gonna love that. Dark Flash Tower Cooler. Ooh, went with the Tower Cooler, huh? What made you choose, or them choose, Tower Cooler over like a Thermalright AIO? Yeah, it's for one of the customers. You had a cockroach in your graphics card once? Oh my gosh. That's wild. Price for this build, $14.99 plus taxes and whatever. But it's weird because like right now, unless you're in Idaho, I don't sell enough systems in different states to actually charge taxes. But Best Buy, it looks like they're charging them automatically. I'm curious if they're sending all of that money to me and then like I deal with it, or if they are actually like sending the taxes automatically, which would be kind of weird. All right, there we go. 9600X, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. Got our brackets already on there. Let's get our case out here. Suggest me a GPU for the 3700X. Yeah, 3070 would be solid. Or like a 3060 Ti. But realistically, if you want to upgrade your GPU, I would consider upgrading the CPU. Even without like, you know, going to a newer platform, just getting a better CPU that's on that AM4 platform. I hate that they put these stickers or tape on here. Okay. There we go. Side panel off. Let's get the back panel off. Oh my gosh, that's so tight. Yeah, Hatfield, it's really cool. Like, I tried to keep my expectations low when I set up for it, just because I know I'm not able to compete price-wise with some of these giant companies, and some people just don't know any better. That like I'm using better quality parts, but yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see that someone actually ordered one. All right. This looks like it's already set up for ATX. Great. Let's get our motherboard screws out here. That's why we went with the tower over AIO. That being said, oh, price is what you, why? Okay, gotcha. I mean, honestly, you can get like this AIO that we're putting in here, $48. $48 right now. It's never really, excuse me. It's never really above $50 either. So I say right now, but it's like, it's always a very reasonably priced CPU cooler. So like, that's why I was asking, because there's so many good options. And this thing will easily cool a 7700X. No question about it. Come on. There we go. All right, let's get our motherboard in here. Get those cables out of the way. Go. What is Thermalright 240 AIO? The AIO we're using. It's a frozen prism. It's a nice little RGB AIO. Yes, this is the Montec XR, Corey. Shift that over a little bit. Right are the Montec XR, but you can see the full spec list there, and when someone typed in exclamation point specs. What up, Plushy? How we doing? But yeah, Trail Tech. That's kind of why I asked, because it just honestly, I think they look a lot better. They're a little bit quieter most of the time, and they perform really well for not much more these days. It used to be like when I started building, AIOs were a lot more expensive. Like you had to spend like $100 to get a good, like a decent quality AIO. But the prices on some of these brands have come down a lot, much more affordable. Oh yeah, 100%. The 240 is more than capable of cooling this 6-core CPU, but it's such a good price point. Like I would never use a 120, and the 240 is such a good price point that it's great, because that means down the road, if they ever update their CPU, like their cooler is likely still going to work, you know. Where's that hole at? Right there? Can't see it from over here. Hold on. Ah, don't pull that off. Okay. Peerless Assassin Evo. Nice. That's not bad, honestly. 6570. Super solid. Your 240 is currently cooling your 9800X 3D, no issues. Love that. Yeah, I'm usually a little more careful with, like, especially the X3Ds. I will usually use a 360, just because, again, like, it's not much more money, and it does a really good job of cooling, but if it works, right? Best gaming PC under 1,700 bucks. I mean, this is a great option. You can get this on Bestbuy right now. $14.99 plus tax. Nice gloves. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Got to keep the PC clean while we're building. All right, there we go. Don't need any more of these, so we'll put these away in their little baggie. Ooh, almost dropped it. Yo, thank you for the likes, Mukasaur. Yo, what up, AD? All right, motherboard's in. Let's switch you guys over here. Also, it's on there, but if any of you guys want to help out sending me to CES in January, we are currently trying to raise enough money to send me and my cameraman to CES for a couple of days to film a bunch of content. So if you feel so inclined, donations to the stream will go towards that. Exclamation point specs if you want to see what's in this system. What up, Robo? Just type in exclamation point specs and check out what's in here. You can also check out the details in the video description. That has all of the parts in there. And if you're building it yourself, you could spend a little bit more on like the CPU, maybe a little bit more on the motherboard, and kind of just do like slight upgrades to everything. But it's a good starting point for your price point. All right, HD audio. Front panel. I go right over here on the right. Left if you're looking from the back side. 5070 or the 5070 Ti. I mean, honestly, neither of those are real 4K cards, so I would at least get the 5070 Ti. I mean, they can definitely play some games at 4K, but they're not like true 4K cards. They don't have enough power or VRAM to be like purpose built for 4K, you know? All right, we've got our USBs connected in here now. There we go. Now let's deal with these fans. First, let's undo this so we can get that out of here. Okay. Move that over to the back. Let's undo these. Yeah, I would say minimum like 5080 or 9070 XT for 4K gaming. This is like the ideal. I mean, you got to remember, like 4K gaming is a lot. You're asking a lot out of your GPU to game in 4K. So if you want that crazy performance, like you got to spend the money on it, you know. Upgrading to the Thermaltake FW360, it's a great option. Replacing fans with dark flash. Nice. Yeah, basically like knockoff Infinity fans from Lee & Lee. Love that. Who is it? Asia Horse has some good knockoffs of those too that look really good. The 5070 or 5070 Ti will be able to play games at 1440p well. Saw a case on eBay, the Lee & Lee 011 Dynamic Mini Snow Edition for a good price. Unfortunately, didn't come with the mounting screws and accessories. Oh, that's a bummer. Yo, what up, Kyle? I'm doing good, man. Hanging out, charging the car. Charging your car? Oh, electric car. I was like, what do you mean? That makes more sense. $600 for a GPU. The 5070 is $549, so you can get one of those. Or I think the 9070 like non-XT model you can get around that price. All right, so RGB here. It's not going to reach down to the bottom because of the daisy chaining stuff. So we're going to run that up to the top. We do have two RGB headers at the top, so if we need to, we can use both of them. One for this and one for the AIO. So there's all of our included fans connected in with RGB. And then kind of the same story here for the case fans. We've got an extra CPU fan 2 that we can plug in here. And then we'll use the CPU fan 1 and the pump fan with the AIO. But all that stuff that's in here is now connected. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit now. How long have I been building computers? Since late 2020. I kind of started getting more serious about like my business for building PCs in like 2022, but that's when I started like actually building computers, was in 2020. Okay, I'm gonna zip tie those together just to kind of keep it nice and tight up there. Thank you for the sub, Lucifer. Appreciate that. Okay. Might do another zip tie further right down here just to keep that looking nice and clean still. Random twist tie that we don't need. Don't recommend using twist ties in your builds because they do have metal on the inside, and if something happens to, like, if the rubber outside somehow breaks, it can and it contacts the motherboard, then you can short out your motherboard and ruin it. So don't use those. Unless they're very far away from the motherboard, then you're probably okay. Okay, that's cleaned up a little bit. Just kind of stick that off to the side for now. We'll clean that up once we get our power cables in. Speaking of which, power cables. In this build today, we've got the RM 750E, 750 watt power supply from Corsair. Thought it was Linus at first, but he didn't drop anything. Not yet. 9070 XT does a good job at 4K. Yeah. It does have a good amount of VRAM, which helps a lot in 4K. Got some zip ties in there. Power supply bolts. Here's all of our cables. And our power supply. Same old, just busy. I feel that, man. I've been so busy the last 2 weeks, man. It's been crazy. I have a bunch of stuff I'm trying to do for this next video, and I've just been like, having to put it off constantly, which, I mean, it's been good because I've been building computers, so sales are up, which is nice. But, you know, got some projects I want to be working on. I have not built in the NZXT H1, so I can't really comment on it much. Has dust filters, and the part you attach to the case feel like the ATX motherboards. Paid $55 for it. Yeah, I mean, that's $55 is a good deal on that case. All right, motherboard power, PCIe power. We're gonna need that one. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. CPU power. We need that. And we're good to go. All right, let's get our CPU power in here. First card was the 2060 Super for like 200 used in 2022. That was my first card for the system I built myself. 2060 Super. And then COVID hit, and like all the GPU shortage stuff started happening. And I really wanted an upgrade because I was only getting like 80, 90 FPS in game while streaming. And so I was like, well, what can I do to get it more? But GPUs were like impossible to find, even though 30 series had just come out. And someone had just upgraded to a 3070 or something and was getting rid of their 2070 Super. And they were selling like a, they sold their 2070 Super, a case, and a power supply, all for basically the price of what a 2070 Super was going for at the time. So I bought all that, built another PC, put my 2060 Super in it, and sold it, and paid for my own upgrade, which was kind of cool. That was like the very first days of me like getting into PC building. FSR 4 carries a lot of the weight. That's true, but then you're not truly gaming in 4K, right? Like you're rendering in 1440p, and then the output is, it looks like 4K, but it's not quite the same, you know? I mean, if you're doing that, like you could use the 5070 in 4K because you're using DLSS, but it doesn't look quite the same. Yo, Rayman, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, man. What up, Mr. Rainbow? How we doing? 5070 or the 9070? Personally, I would go with the 9070. Especially if you're bold enough to install a different GPU BIOS on it, you can install a 9070 XT GPU BIOS on it and get like insane performance out of the 9070. You know, do it at your own risk, obviously, but the 9070 is a pretty awesome deal. All right, CPU power in. Let's get our motherboard power in here. Also, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I am a big AMD fan. So, you know that when I recommend the 9070. All right, got that fully seated. Scooch that through the pass-through. Hopefully without pulling the pass-through.
Intel FTWBOI.
That looks good. Okay, we've got that. We have another one there, so let's stick one of these other cable ties in there. I think we can get it through. Just gotta help it along a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's all nice and situated in there. Let's get our power supply going. Intel for the win? Nah. Intel's falling behind, man. They are falling behind. I mean, their price to performance is a lot better right now because they dropped their prices like crazy around Prime Day and stuff. I don't know if that's going to stick around, but up until they did that, the price to performance was just nowhere near as good as AMD's. I dropped something. Technically, I dropped 4 things. I gotta find them all. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. Nope, that's a different bolt. Okay. We're searching on the floor, folks. Searching on the floor. And there are extras if I need one, but I haven't had that happen in a minute. I feel like they went behind me somewhere. Well, I guess we'll use the extras that come with the case because I don't know where those went. Oh, I found 3 of them. Everything's fine, everything's fine. Usually they come with a few in the case. See, it's just a matter of time. Power supply, there we go. 8 of them. Got coming down. I'm also swapping my components with the Lee V100. Ooh, nice. Okay, let's bolt in our power supply. Depending on the state the PC is going to, maybe why may be required to charge collect tax since they're the seller. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I'm not honestly not sure how that works. All right. Power supply is installed. We can run our GPU cable out over here. I think this spot, with it being a smaller, like 2-fan model on the GPU, is gonna look funky. So I think we're gonna run it through here. I think we run it through there. That way it's in a better spot when the GPU is there. All right, let's hook this up. This is our 3-to-1 for the CPU fans. Yeah, and I'll find out, I guess, what they do with the tax money, if they do it directly themselves or if I do it. Because technically they're a marketplace. Like, they're not actually the ones selling it, I think, legally. But I don't know how that works. We'll find out. All right. Let's get our AIO. And Thermalright's so thoughtful. They pre-install the fans for us. It's so wonderful. Makes installing the AIO very easy, very simple. Madi, the specs. It's got a 9600X Ryzen 5. It's got a 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, and a 240 millimeter AIO. I'd almost guarantee that the marketplace account will collect and remit the tax. It could be. It doesn't tell me what it's doing with it, so we'll see. If it does, that would be a big bummer. Since the commission fees they charge takes up most of my profit. They wouldn't tell me. I tried to look it up and everything. But they refused to tell me what the commission fees were. On this build, it's like $100, $120, which means I'm only making like 60 bucks probably. Maybe 80 bucks, depending on how much it costs to actually ship this thing. Definitely unfortunate, but we'll see. All right, got that through. Sounds amazing. Just sold your 6700 XT. What GPU do you think I should upgrade for that next PC? Do you have a price point in mind, and what else is in your system? Come on. Like, what CPU and RAM do you have, I guess, at least? All right, let's get our radiator bolts out here. Lowering this thing down so it's easier to reach the top. You don't get paid till it ships. Yeah. So they hold, like, they don't actually charge the money. It's like a hold, like a credit hold until the item ships. So I haven't been paid yet. The interesting thing with selling on Best Buy is you have to ship within 2 days. So I pretty much always have to have either parts on hand or the PC already built in order to make sure I can meet those deadlines. I have a little more time right now because it was bought on a Friday and they don't make you ship over the weekend, but still, kind of crazy. You're starting from scratch. Probably get 32 gigs, upgrade to AM5, 1.5K budget. Building yourself, 1.5K budget. You could probably squeeze like a 5070 or a 9070 in there. Depending on what like CPU and how high end you go with like your motherboard and stuff. All right, got that in there. Let's get our fan cables done. Let's loosen this up a little bit. Okay, get our RGB going here. Gonna daisy chain these two guys together like so. I'll run this back out to the front like that. And then we'll connect that in to our other RGB port, just like that. Get all that in there. Okay, get that kind of tightened down a little bit. I think we might do that. So let's zip tie this right here. Okay, I can actually route that back up. Like this. Okay, I'm gonna put that down for now because I'm gonna have to run the RGB for the pump out to this, so I need that gap open. But besides that, the backside is good to go. Let's get some thermal paste on here. Get a paper towel. Keep the fingies clean. Best Buy listing is a power move. I like it. Hey, thank you. I worked really hard to try and to get onto Best Buy. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort. So I'm really excited to have a system live on the website. Eventually, I'd like to have a couple of listings, like 3. But since I do have to have the parts on hand and potentially, like, ideally have the PC already pre-built, I'm starting just with 1 for now, just because I don't want to have many thousands of dollars in parts on hand for those systems at the moment. All right. Spatula clean. Go. Thermal grease is closed. Minimal thermal paste on the fingers. Love that. Love to see that. Not zero thermal paste on the fingers, but like not a lot. All right, plastic off. Ignore the TikTok that I made. You really should take that plastic off. How's that not going on there? Come on. There we go. Now it's on there. "2022 was a very good year when mining was dropping." That's true. Could have easily got a 9700 XT and a $1,500 build. He's in the UK. He asked for prices in pounds, so I don't really know what the availability is like over there and pricing. Okay, we're gonna split these off just a little bit. We get this one. Actually, we're gonna get this, stick this one out to the back first. Okay. Okay, getting that RGB through there. All right, RGB is through, just like that. And we got to run our pump header back out and try to connect it. I think we're gonna have to, let's pull this RAM out. Just be a lot easier this way. The downside of a small case. A little bit less room to work. Come on. You could try and put the pump in so that you could plug these in before you put the fans on, but it's not really any easier. It's just a different kind of difficulty, you know? There we go. Got it. Okay. That's all nice and plugged in. Let's get our RGB plugged in here. It's just gonna daisy chain into the one from the CPU cooler fans. All right. Stick that up there like so. Run those into there. can zip tie these guys down. There you have it. Okay, now we just got to run these cables down into here, like this. That's starting to look pretty good, huh? Starting to look pretty good. All right, let's get our GPU plugged in, and then we'll deal with these power cables at the bottom, and then we'll be all done. So, oh wait. And then we'll be all done. GPU, we've got a PNY RTX 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte. What up, SP? What up, MJ? How we doing? Lemons, what's going on? We're building a PC that is on sale or for sale on bestbuy.com. We got accepted into the marketplace program, and I have one listing, one model on Best Buy's website. Pretty cool. What up, Benji from Angola? Welcome in. Miguel, 2 months as a tier 1 member. Let's go. The CPU we're using is a 9600X. I mean, you see it in that thing now. What up, Miguel? How we doing? Appreciate you being a member, my good sir. Let's see, got some other plastic? We sure do. Hold on, there's gotta be a better way to get this off. Companies always use plastic that's weaker than the adhesive, which is wild. Like, the stuff only needs to last for a little while sitting in a box. You don't need that good of adhesive to hold it on, you know? Okay, we got to get the plastic off the centers of these fans. There we go. Cool. Hey, this one has a left-hand thing too. I guess Gigabyte's not the only company that did that. I don't know if I can fit this through over here though. Nope, it's got to come through here. All right, let's get this GPU in. I'm doing good, Miguel. How are you? I guess I already asked. Intel Core Ultra 7 265K with a 5080, that's a great combo. Especially since right now that Core Ultra 7 is dirt cheap. They're selling it for like under 300 bucks right now. All right, second and third slot. GPU time. Okay, we got that nice click. It's bolted down. $8400F, B650, 16 gigs of RAM, 7600 XT. That's a solid little combo. I mean, personally, if I was building a DDR5, like AM5 machine, I would never put less than 32 gigs in it for a gaming system, just because several games nowadays can take that much RAM. Like, they can use up that much RAM.
Found Yad on BBY.
But besides that, it's a good little system. Definitely gives you a lot of options going forward, too. If you get a good enough size power supply, you can always upgrade CPU and GPU down the road. All right, power cable. Gotta do a little more cable management back here, and then we are all set. I don't really need to tie those down. We can just leave them like that. Looks pretty good. All right. How are we feeling about that cable management, chat? I think that looks pretty good. What do we think? 1 through 10. What up, Raheem? 1 through 10 on that cable management job, folks. What do we think? Is it hard to see here? Let's put it to the front. Sorry, front only. There we go. There. That's a good clean image. Found me on Best Buy. Hey, let's go. What up, Shane? How we doing, dude? 8, 9, and 10 is a high bar. Oh, he said 8, 9, and 10 is a high bar. I'm happy with that. I am not willing to put in the amount of zip ties and stuff that it takes to try and go for like a 9 or a 10. 1, because it's like a waste of time. And 2, because it makes it a nightmare if anyone ever has to work on it again. So I am happy to get an 8 and have it look good and nice and clean, but still be serviceable, you know? At least that's what I tell myself. Anybody else gonna rate it for us? Before we close it up there and you can't see it ever again? Going once, going twice. All right, 8 it is. It's the official number. Can't change it now. Trail Tech has spoken. Got no bulge in the side panel. It went on real nice and easy. I'd say that's a build. I'd say that's a build, folks. Okay, so not very many people answered me when I asked for a rating, but I'm gonna need some of you guys to put in your favorite emoji before we turn this thing on. It's kind of a requirement. Oh, a guy, sorry, I didn't see your message earlier. The 265K and a 5080 is a great combo. Favorite emojis in the chat right meow. I made the mistake of doing a meticulous cable management job before testing and then ended up having to redo it because of a dead on arrival fan. Oh, that's such a pain, dude. That's such a pain. MJ, love it. Come on, I know there's more of you in here. Wrong one? Sure, sure. Wrong one, he says. All right, we're gonna dim the lights here. And when I come back, I wanna see some emojis in the chat. You're all fired. Wow. We got Trail Tech with an emoji, love that. Nice, MJ, like that. PC looks amazing, but will it boot? Of course it'll boot, I built it. Cookie, there we go. All right, I just wanted one more just to make myself feel better. All right, so as a reminder, we've got a Ryzen 5 9600X. We've got 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, RTX 5060 Ti 16 gig. Got a 240 millimeter AIO from Thermalright, ASRock B850 Wi-Fi motherboard, 750 watt power supply, and then we've got the Montech XR case. First ever power on. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. You can never be sure if it'll boot. This is my almost 300th build. It's very rare that they won't boot. There you go. Green and white light. It's gonna do some memory training, but the fact that it already got to the green and white light. There you go, green light. Sometimes they'll do green and white together if you don't have any peripherals hooked up to them on the first boot. Just like that, there's a green and white, but it booted. Done and dusted. When you've built as many PCs as I have, Reality, it's very uncommon for me to have a build that doesn't boot the first try. Very uncommon. And it's not like cocky or anything, it's just statistically, it's likely it's gonna boot. Looks good, gonna look even better on a static high color, I agree. Yeah, once you set a color to it, it's gonna look really good. All right. Any final questions? Like I said, this has to get shipped out in the next couple of days, so we're gonna be going straight to getting Windows and everything installed on it so that we can ship it out, because Best Buy does not give me a lot of time. They treat it as if it's already pre-built, so it's got to be ready to ship and ship within 2 days. 777 pounds is a unique price region spot I find myself. Yeah, I don't really know. See, the hard part is I don't know what PCs cost in the UK. Like, I don't know what components cost over there, so it's hard for me to know like what you could put in a build of that price range, you know. Yeah, it is almost always a hardware issue. But yeah, it's not that often that I get DOA stuff anymore. It's only happened a handful of times in the last like 2 years. Beautiful build, thank you, COF. Putting back on all the panels is bad luck. See, that's why we got this panel off. Actually, I just do that because it would glare like crazy. Oh, is that not pound? Oh, that is a euro, isn't it? Sorry, the text is really small. So I couldn't tell. The symbol for like a euro and a pound is similar enough when it's this big. Also, now that I said the word euro, I kind of want like a euro because I haven't eaten since lunch, which was like 6 hours ago. Kind of hungry. But it's not bad luck anymore, Cookie, because we already got it to post. So technically, I could put the panel on right now, and it's not bad luck because we already know it posted, right? Can we agree on that as a community here? Can we agree that now that I've seen the post lights, even though I haven't plugged it into anything, it has technically posted and it's not bad luck for me to put a panel on? I want to make sure, or all the panels on. I just want to make sure everyone's on board with that before I do that after I get off stream. I'm good to go. TrailTech says I'm good to go. Anybody else have an opinion on that? Hatfield, you've built some PCs. What's your opinion on that? No other opinions on that? Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, a little bit quiet today, a little bit lower on the viewership, but I appreciate those of you who did show up. You guys are the real ones, all right? It's a Friday night. You could be out partying. You could be out playing COD or some other game right now, but no, you're here. You're hanging out. I appreciate you guys. You built like 9 or 10. I mean, that's still more than a lot of people. Saving up to get the parts for my custom PC from a 3050 Ti laptop, which will be great for my sanity of gaming. Yeah, and doing it as a desktop, you'll be so much happier. Even if you have technically the same components, it will perform a lot better than a laptop. Wasting hours away on second shift, rip. Work tomorrow, can't do the drinking thing anymore. Kills me now. That's fair. I mean, when I say drink, I'm usually like, I'll have a drink, maybe 2. Is getting 64 gigabytes of RAM off of Facebook Marketplace for $100 a good deal? If it's DDR5, 100%. DDR4, it's an okay deal. But DDR5, totally worth it. I mean, make sure it works, but that's a good deal. Because that's normally almost $200. Are you able to find specific hardware, or do you have to sell full builds? Say if you could find a 1080 Ti. Like me, I only sell full builds. If somebody came to me and said, hey, I have this part, can you build me the rest of the system? I can totally do that. I obviously can't warranty that part, but the rest of the system, I would. Yeah, that's a great deal, Limited. Yeah, AMD does really good with budget builds. You're not wrong. Maybe 3 at the most in a given night. Yeah, exactly. Might even still have a 1070 Ti GPU sitting around. Hey, there you go. All right, y'all. That's it for me. I need to get working on software and BIOS and all that sort of stuff on this system. And unfortunately, the monitor that I use to read chat is the monitor that I use to do all that. So I hope you all have a great rest of your night. I hope you all have a great weekend. If it's early in the morning, go to bed, get some sleep. If it's not, go have some fun. All right. Hope y'all have a great time. Thank you again for coming and hanging out and chatting, making this more fun than me sitting here watching TV while I build. All right. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye, goodbye. Have a great night, Hatfield. See you later, Trail Tech. Appreciate you.